And from the Greater Accra Regional Capital, we'll go to the Ashanti Regional Capital, where fire has engulfed a private hostel at Kenten Krono near the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Now, the fire is reported to have started around 6 p.m. on the third floor of the four-story building. The cause of the fire is yet to be established as fire personnel struggle to douse the ravaging flames. Only few students occupy the hostel at the time of the fire because majority of them were on vacation. We'll cross over to the Ashanti region where our correspondent is standing by to give us the very latest on this development.
An unpleasant situation here from the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi, and as you can see, the picture behind me epitomizes a whole sad story. This thing actually happened somewhere 6 p.m. and in our last bulletin we reported to you how fire had gutted one of the major hostels here at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science Technology. It's a private hostel though, it's a four-story building hostel, and the entire fourth floor has been ravaged badly by an unknown fire. We will be speaking to the fire officials here very soon. They've been frequenting the disaster site, and I know they've gathered a couple of things to tell us. But let me speak to a victim who happens to be a student of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. He's also, like I mentioned earlier on, Bridget, he's a victim of this very disaster. So Magnus, it's a hard-to-stomach situation here, and we also share your feelings. But what have you lost?
For me personally, I wasn't a victim in the fire, but I'm on the ground floor, so I think the fire, it was just the last floor up there. So my friends lost their items and then a lot of things, but for me personally, I didn't lose anything.
Okay, so you have been talking to your friends since last night, and what have been some of the revelations? No, they've been counting their losses.
Okay, for now, the people I've been speaking to, people lost their refrigerators, their air conditions. Some people actually lost their project works. You know, some final year students who had their project works in the room, they lost everything, and then so many other things, their clothes and everything. Because it's a short vacation, it's about 2 weeks vacation, so we didn't really take anything home. We actually left most of the things here. The only thing we took home are clothes, and just a bag of clothes, probably something like that. So every other thing apart from clothes may be lost in the fire, laptops and all. All
right, so Bridget, just to add to what Magnu just told me, I spoke to a couple of the students a minute to this report, and they actually confirmed to me that they've lost huge sums of properties, especially via project work, and you know the amount of time that is consumed in making a project work. So if that particular thing is lost, I think it's a serious effect on some of these students who are counting their loss at the moment. But let me speak to David Afo. He is the regional fire safety officer, and like I indicated, or as I indicated to you early on, he and his men have been frequenting the disaster site. Probably he must have come out with something to tell us. So, Mr. Afo, you have been visiting the disaster site. What have you come across so far?
Thank you very much. Yesterday evening around 5:10 p.m. we had a call that there's fire at KNUST campus. So our men came and then start fighting the fire. So we fought through the fire in the night, and we had a few challenges. Some of them were shortage of water on the ground, because at that time we were not having hydrants running, which means most of them were dry. So that impeded our operation. I said that this morning we came to verify what actually happened. And we realized that most of these rooms have electrical appliances on, and the switches are in the sockets, and they are in on position. And you also have in the room not less than 2 gas cylinders. So we are anticipating maybe it could be a gas leakage, or maybe this frequent power fluctuation which might cause this incident.
Okay. Now, from your own records, I mean, the number of fire disasters that have occurred in the Ashanti region, for instance, last year, that's 2013, Ashanti region recorded no less than 900, in fact, over 900 fire disasters. And you also came out to tell us that if you trace the cause of these fire, they've been attributed to either, unnoticed live electricity fracture or power fluctuation. Let me ask this: how has your monitoring been like? How effective has your monitoring been like?
Thank you very much. Let me correct this impression. It is not fire disaster; it's fire incident. If you say a disaster, which is beyond the capability of the people within the region, been able to contain this fire, so I will not agree to the fact that they were fire disaster. They are fire incidents. Come to the control, the monitoring system. We have the fire safety unit that goes around to check these things. And like you just said, most of these incidents that occur result out of faulty electrical appliances. We not observe big fire safety measures at home and other things like gas leakages and the way we handle these gas cylinders. So these are the things. Our men are on the ground and we are doing our best to minimize the outbreak of fire within the region.
Okay, early on, you're also talking about some defects that you also noticed when you were going around, and it appears the owners of this or the management of this very hostel did not take due diligence in putting certain things in place to check fire. Yes,
what I would say is that when they were putting up the structures, as far as my record is concerned, we were not involved. We were not asked to make an input to that, and therefore you realize that on the roof level, beyond the lintel, these structures, once you get to the roof level, you're supposed to raise what we call the gable ends so that the roof members will fall on it. And then you provide walls in between the rooms so that once the fire starts within that room, it is restricted and confined in that room. But in this situation, they only provide the structure at the lintel level or at the beam level and then continue with the frame structure, wooden structure on top, which means that when the fire starts in one room, it will just spread from one room to the other within a short possible time. Well, my final question, and I'm sure this very revelation will open the floodgate for you to intensify your monitoring in these private hostels. Yes, we are going to that. From today going, we are going to embark on revocation of fire certificates, which means that we'll visit your premise and identify the deficiencies and we advise you accordingly. Those who will not comply, we have to revoke their fire certificate. Those who don't have the fire certificate, we will also send them to court to compel them to acquire the fire certificate. All right. Thanks so much, David Afo. He is the Regional Fire Safety Officer. So, Bridget, it is a hard-to-stomach situation for these students, especially the final year students who are writing their project work and they have lost virtually everything.